Hi everyone, Dean Forder from the distillery. Welcome to Who's Your Avatar, Jester Edition Part 2, The Instigator. Just a quick note, as you can see, we've expanded and drilled down on what you would call the original 12 archetypes by creating 3 sub-archetypes. We call them avatars for each, yielding a total of 36 unique brand identities. So there are 3 avatars within the Jester family: the Entertainer, which we covered last time, the Provocateur, which we'll cover next time, but this time we are going to talk about the Instigator. So in the words of the late, great Robin Williams, you're only given a little spark of madness, you mustn't lose it. And here's an example of that kind of mindset in action.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Cannonball!
So yes, the Instigator loves to bring the party. And the thing is, most of us, we sit back and see how others behave. But the Instigator has the courage to follow their instincts, even if, well, maybe especially if that instinct is to be the first into the pool. They are good-natured mischief makers. Oftentimes the YouTube stars of today, they live in the moment, they enable excitement and fun, and they bring it out in others at work or play. I always like to think of Bart Simpson. So all of our avatars have bits and pieces of other avatars inside them, kind of like spiritual kin. And the Instigator has a bit of the rebel, a bit of the artist, and a bit of the adventurer, because they are adventurous and they are expressing themselves and they don't care what you think. So the thing about them is we break down what we call the behavior code for all the avatars. And as we say in this case, their purpose is to be the spark that lights the fun. They are a catalyst. Their enemy is boredom. Their skills and traits are they're spontaneous, mischievous, exciting, effervescent. And they have, we always say that you hire actually one of these avatars to do a job. So the job that they do is they get the party started. They encourage people to overcome their self-consciousness and aversion to risk, and they are a good pick-me-up when you're bored. Their essence is fun, but we said at the Entertainer, it's a sort of escapist fun. In the case of the Instigator, it is mischievous fun. If we look at some brands, last time we talked about how the Entertainer, a great example is M&M's. If you kind of move that up a little bit in terms of age, if the M&M's has a childlike quality, Cheetos and other brands like these guys, they like to hit on the teenager and the young adult because of that inherent mischievous. And if you compare that dangerously cheesy thing about Cheetos and compare that to M&M's, they're a little bit cooler, a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more mischievous. So I'm a big fan of place branding, and Las Vegas is such a great example of place branding. Just when you look at the tagline alone, what happens here stays here. So take a look at this.
Coming? You coming? You coming? Yeah. Instigators, leaders, enablers. You make what happens here.
So sorry for the quality of the tape there. It's we couldn't find a decent version, but they even used the word instigator in the voiceover, and that's an Effie award-winning campaign. And the thing about that is that we all have that friend who twists our arm and gets us into trouble in a good kind of way. And Vegas is perfectly personified by that with the Instigator. So another favorite of ours is Hotels.com. And this is something we worked on in Canada while at J. Walter Thompson. Of course, the credit for this work really belongs to Ryan Spelsey and his team. Ryan now has his own great boutique agency called Juliet. So when we started working on hotels, naturally we inherited Captain Obvious, who is a brilliant mnemonic device and clearly a jester, but he was a bit one note. He was essentially the punchline to a joke. People had a bad vacation experience, and Captain Obvious points out the obvious before explaining some feature or benefit of Hotels.com. We were tasked with making him more relevant to Canada, but there was also this awareness of him getting a bit stale. And in fact, the client had considered getting rid of him altogether. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to breathe new life into him and stop making him this passive observer, and instead make him proactive, igniting the fun, so to speak. So our approach to loyalty, to promoting long weekends, whatever the case may be, was to make him more of an enabler and in a relevant Canadian way. So here's an example.
This is the Hotels.com winter swear jar. When a Canadian tweets about how cold it is, they'll add a quarter to it. Every time it fills up, they'll send one cold Canadian somewhere warm. For more information, check out the internet. Yeah.
So that's just a quick hit on that one, but it brings up another point. Finding your avatar is not a paint by numbers experience. You still need to find specific insights into your category, consumer, and surrounding culture to find the best way to bring your avatar to life. And also, this is something to keep in mind for Canadian companies who frequently inherit a brand strategy and even a campaign idea. While we may not invent the big idea, we do need to activate it. And by homing in on your archetype, it really helps create that blueprint for behavior. It opens up new ways to interpret and apply that brand idea while staying true to your roots. So stay tuned next time when we're going to go take a look at the provocateur.